Tom Hutchinson, and I am the chair of the Committee of Adjustments. Meeting item number one, we're going to call the meeting order. There you are at 2 p.m. So this is the November 5th, 2024 Committee of Adjustment meeting. We do have quorum as all members are in attendance today. For this meeting, we're using both audio and video. This meeting is being recorded and we posted on the West Gray website at www.westgray.com. Technology for this meeting is being managed by the West Gray staff. And if anybody is virtually attending, please refrain from clicking buttons throughout the meeting unless prompted. So before we continue, I'll ask Ms. Noble, our communications coordinator, to provide an overview of some of the other key points for the meeting. Ms. Noble, go ahead, please.
Thank you. And through you, Councillor Hutchinson. Before I begin, at any point, if you get disconnected, you can dial 1-647-558-0588 and enter the ID for this meeting, which is 891-5626-2480. Both members of council and staff have been briefed on the various features of the Zoom meeting software and will be raising their hands physically to speak. For members of the public, if you require any technical assistance, please send a chat message to myself, Ashley Noble, Communications Coordinator, and I will attempt to assist you. It should be noted for members of the public that this meeting is taking place across two meeting platforms, both on Zoom as well as being live streamed on YouTube. Public participation, if any, must be done through Zoom. It cannot be done through YouTube at this time.
Thank you. Item number two is purpose of the meeting. Planner Smith, could you please provide some details, sir?
Mr. Chair, purpose of today's Committee of Adjustment meeting is to present the following applications. A10-2024 for 2222195 concession 14 for Conway. And second of all, a minor variance application and consent application A1811-2024 and B26-2024 North Part Lots 70 concession 6 Glen Elk for George and McPhail. Public meetings will allow interested members of the public the opportunity to ask questions or to offer comments regarding an application. Notice of the public meetings were posted on the subject properties and circulated via mail to those persons within 60 meters of the properties and to prescribed agencies as required by the Planning Act. A public registry is available here in the council chambers for those attending a public meeting in person. As noted by our Communications Coordinator, Ashley Noble, participation in a public meeting can also be done online. Recent changes to the Planning Act restrict the right to appeal a decision of the Committee of Adjustment to prescribed persons and agencies. Neighboring property owners no longer have the right to appeal any decision of the Committee of Adjustment. If you wish to receive notice of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment on any application presented today, please provide your name and mailing address to the municipality of West Gray in writing. Thank you.
Thank you, Planner Smith. Okay, item number three is disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Members of the committee, do you have anything to declare at this time? If not, if one should arise during the meeting, of course, you declare at that time. Item number four is the approval of the minutes. 4.1 is the minutes of Committee of Adjustment hearing held October 1st, 2024. And the recommendation will be that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves the minutes from that meeting. And I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder. I see Councillor Hutchinson, Member Hutchinson. Can I get a seconder, please? Member Eccles. Comments or questions on the minutes? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor can raise your hand, please. I see all members are in favor. There's none opposed. That motion has carried. Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay, item number five. This is application number A10-2024, 222-195, concession 14. 5.1 is report from our planner. Planner Smith, if you can please read your report for A10-2024, including any written or verbal comments you've received up to the start of today's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll ask Ashley if you go to page 21 of 42 and the PDF available online. Bring it up on the screen. Thank you. The application proposes an 80.3 square meter accessory building on a 1.1 hectare lot. The accessory building, I'm gonna go down to this is the aerial of the property itself. Maybe, sorry, before you go, this property is actually a corner lot So it has two frontages, little tiny frontage, as you can see on the far right-hand side of the picture, and then this major frontage on the concession road. The actual front yard, front of the property is the little tiny section on the right side. That's what makes it a corner lot, which then puts everything else in perspective. The rear is to the far left. The exterior side yard, of course, is along the other side, along the other roadway. So when we take a look at the property, we talk about front yard, rear yard, and so on and so forth, they're not exactly where you would think they would be when you take a look at the property. Can we go to the next picture, please? That one's a little blank, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Here, this is from Google Street View. This picture here shows the property from the roadway itself. You can see that it's set relatively far back from the edge of the travel portion. It sits up on a little bit of a knoll. Well, if you were to think about where the garage is going to go, the accessory building's particular case, it's to the right of the building. It would have a standard relationship in terms of its presence to the street itself or to the concession road in terms of that. And we'll go back up one picture, two pictures, please. Page 20. One more. Right there. Thank you. So the blue the blue dot is actually on top of the house, and you can see the proposed accessory building just to the right of it. As I mentioned, when you saw it from street view, you'd be able to picture that, the house from that, and then a building off to the right, standard row profile. Thanks. So I mentioned we're doing an 80.3 meter accessory building in the front yard and not in the rear yard or the interior side yard as required by the bylaw. The proposed location would not interfere with any of the West Gray Road operations on concession 14. It's set well back. There are no houses or other sensitive uses in close proximity. There is sufficient area on the lot for septic and well, which exists already, and the building's not being built over top of either one of them. We did circulate the application to our internal agencies, Public Works and Building, and no concerns, and we received no public comments as the date of writing of the report, and received none since the report was submitted into your package. We reviewed the application against the 4 tests of a minor variance. Test 1, does the minor variance maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan, which is the County of Gray official plan? Does the minor variance maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw? Is the second test. The third test is the minor variance desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land, building, or structure? And the fourth and final test is the application needs to be minor in nature. He said we reviewed all 4 of the tests and the particular against this particular development, and I am of the opinion that the development does meet all the 4 tests, and therefore we recommend to the Committee of Adjustment that the minor variance for 810 2024 Conway be approved as recommended in the conditions provided to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Planner Smith, for your detailed report. That moves us on to 5.2 verbal comments. So there's 2 parts to this. 5.2.1 is going to be the committee members. Once that's completed, we'll go to the public or to the agents, have those comments, and then we'll be looking for a vote on the recommendation. So 5.2.1 committee members, do you have any comments or questions at this time? That will be Member Eccles. Go ahead, sir.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Smith. How is it that the front yard would be off the side road? That short little piece, because most of the frontage is off concession, and wouldn't the frontage come off the concession? So not that it makes a lot of difference.
By definition, so the West Gray bylaw provides definition of lot frontage. So first of all, we determined that it's a corner lot because it actually does have frontage on 2 open and maintained roadways. So that's number 1, it's a corner lot. Number 2, then you go to the definition of front lot. And it says when you have a corner lot, of which this is, the shorter of the 2 lot lines, it would be the front yard. It has to pick one, right? You can't have, the only time where you're allowed to use one or the other is when they're the same length. Then you can pick one or the other. But otherwise, it is the shorter lot line on a corner lot that makes that the front yard by definition in the bylaw. And that is actually pretty common on almost every bylaw I've ever seen, to tell you the truth. in terms of finding a front yard.
in zoning.
Yeah, and in zoning. There may be some these days that says, that leaves it more flexible as in the predominant, frontage or something like that, but most of them still go by the shortest in terms of finding by definition.
It's just strange that both the driveways that come off the concession road. And, oh, well, we'll have to find a consultant someday and correct that in our zoning bylaw.
Good luck finding one.
It's not too busy. Okay, thank you. I did say consultant. Sometimes that's correct.
I will make a note of that, sir. Any other comments or questions from committee members before I turn it over to the 5.2.2, which is public comments. So at this time, Ms. Noble, could you just let us know if anybody is virtually attending that would like to speak to this? And if you could explain how they could participate before I look to anybody in the audience that wants to participate. Go ahead, please.
As noted, at the opening of the meeting, public participation must be done through Zoom. Members of the public joining virtually wishing to participate in this portion of the meeting may do so in one of two ways. If you have joined via phone, press *9 to raise your hand. This will let us know that you would like to speak. Alternatively, *9 can also be used to lower your hand. If you have joined virtually, you can either raise your hand by clicking either the blue or yellow hand icon located in the bottom corner of your screen, or by sending a chat message to myself, Ashley Noble, Communications Coordinator, either stating that you would like to speak or what you would like read into the record on your behalf.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anyone online there? No? Okay, we'll turn the application to the audience now, or people in attendance. Anybody publicly here today that would like to speak to this application? Seeing none, we will close that part of it. We're gonna go to item number 5.3. And it's what direction would the committee like to take with this application? We do have a recommendation on the agenda, and I see Member Forrester. Go ahead, sir.
I'd like to move the recommendations as laid out in the report.
Thank you, sir. Is there a seconder, please? Member Townsend, you'll second that, sir? Okay, everyone clear on the recommendation? Any comments, questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor, you can raise your hands, please. I see all members are in favor. There's none opposed. That motion has carried. And at that stage, we'll go back to 5.4, which is next steps. Planner Smith.
The planning department will issue a notice of decision on the application. The conditions as established by the Committee of Adjustment. As I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, only the applicant and the agencies have the right to appeal. After the appeal period is completed and there are no appeals, then the applicant can move forward with a building permit application for the accessory building.
Thank you, Planner Smith. So that completes item number 5 in its entirety. So item number 6 today is application number A 2024 and B 2024, North Park Lot 20, Concession 6, Geographic Township of Glen Elk. 6.1 is the report from our planning staff. And again, Planner Smith, if you could just walk us through your report and include any items you've received up to the start of today's meeting. Planner Smith, please.
Thank you, Ashley. We can go to page 35 of 42 in the PDF, please. Thank you. We have two applications being heard simultaneously. The one is a minor variance application, and the second one is a consent. The intent of the applications overall is for what is we refer to as a lot addition. The diagram that's up on the screen shows an area to be severed and merged with McPhail property. The severance is actually off of the George property being merged with the McPhail property. So from the north to the south, and you can see the to be retained, which is the remainder of the George property. And then to the south, the McPhail property, which is getting larger. The minor variance is put in place in order to allow this to happen overall. As I mentioned, the purpose of the application is to sever approximately 2 hectares of land from the George property, the one on the top part, and merge the severed lands as a lot addition with the McPhail property, the property at the bottom of the screen. The enlarged McPhail property would be 12.06 hectares in total lot area, and the retained George property would be about 18.23, as shown on the diagrams overall. Both of the lots have access onto Side Road 40, which is a municipally owned and maintained roadway. The lot is designated rural land use and hazard in the County of Gray official plan. There are some significant woodlands on the property and other wetland and aggregate resource constraints on the property. All of those have been addressed. As the retained lot will be less than 20 hectares in size and necessitates relief from the minimum lot area requirement to the West Gray zoning bylaw, and that's what the minor variance does, is it recognizes the smaller lot area than smaller than 40. We circulated the application to the various agencies, West Gray Public Works, Building and Fire, have no concerns. The County of Gray mentioned that there's no requirement for an environmental impact study, even though there are significant woodlands on the property. Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority have no comments either or issues with the application. As we mentioned at the beginning, we did circulate the application, notice of the application to surrounding property owners. We received no comments back from them at the time of writing the report, and none since the report was uploaded to the website for your review. Reviewed the application for the consent versus the county against the provincial policy statement, against the Gray County official plan, and against the municipality West Gray zoning bylaw. The Gray County official plan is our major determiner in terms of consent policies, and overall, consents are permitted for lot addition purposes or to correct lot boundaries. And overall, in this particular case, as I mentioned, we're doing a lot addition. We're not really changing any overall land uses. There's still going to be individual large estate, if you want to call it that, or rural properties overall. There's no impact on the aggregates. There's no impact on the other wetlands for changing the property boundaries. And overall, we do find that the application does conform to the County of Gray official plan for the consent. As I mentioned, we do need relief for the lot area for the A2, since it is going to be below 20 hectares in size. In terms of the minor variance review, we applied 4 tests as required under the Planning Act. The first test being, does the minor variance maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plans, which in this case is the County of Gray official plan? Does the minor variance maintain the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw? This is the second test. The third test is, would the minor variance represent an appropriate or desirable use of the land and buildings? And the fourth and final test is the minor variance minor in nature. So the planning department and myself have reviewed the application against the 4 tests and find that it does pass all 4 tests, and therefore we recommend to the Committee of Adjustment that the recommendations provided in the report to the Committee of Adjustment for application A11 2024 and B26 24 be approved as presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Planner Smith. All right, that moves us on to 6.2 verbal comments. So we do have 2 parts of this. One is with committee members first, and then we'll follow that up with the public comments. So committee members, do you have any comments or questions at this time on the application before I turn it to the public? Oh, Member Eccles, there you go, sir.
Yes. When I come into the meeting, I sat in the wrong chair. I was down in the end down there, so come up with a lot of questions. This will be, because it could be a 2 hectare parcel. It will be registered as a lot addition, that it wouldn't end up being a severance.
The specific conditions and the recommendation before you apply a very particular section of the Planning Act to it. It is a one-time stamp. So you are correct. It is done as a lot addition only.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot better than being down there in that chair.
No typos? Okay. Okay, any other comments or questions? Before I turn to the public? Okay. 6.2.2, public comments. Ms. Noble, if you could let anybody know if there is anybody virtually attending, how they can participate. And if you haven't received any correspondence, please let me know that before I turn it to anybody in attendance. Go ahead, please.
If you have joined via phone, press star 9 to raise your hand. This will let us know that you would like to speak. Alternatively, star 9 can also be used to lower your hand. If you have joined Virtually, you can either raise your hand by clicking either the blue or yellow hand icon located in the bottom corner of your screen, or by sending a chat message to myself, Ashley Noble, Communications Coordinator, either stating that you would like to speak or what you would like read into the record on your behalf.
Okay, thank you very much. I do see we have a gentleman sitting at the stage ready to go there. If you could just identify your name and the floor will be yours, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Ron Davidson. I'm a planning consultant, and I'm representing both the owners, which would be the Mr. and Mrs. George, as well as the recipients of the lot line adjustment, which is Mrs. McPhail. I'll keep this very brief. This is very straightforward. It's nice having one of those every now and then. I'm sure the committee agrees. We don't fill a room with these. David explained everything about the application. The only thing I'll add is why we're doing this. So the McPhails bought this property, and when I say the property has significant charm, it's a nice spot. But when they bought it, they just made the assumption that the walking trail that's just immediately north of their house was on their property. And in fact, they didn't know that, and either did the Georges. And somehow they figured out that the walking trail that the McPhails used was not on their property. So they're asking for a 50-meter deep lot line adjustment from one party to the other, and that would correct things. As you've heard through your planner, there are no issues with regard to official plan, PPS, any agencies. It's a lot line adjustment. No buildings or structures, no physical changes whatsoever. The trail's already on the property. Again, very straightforward. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that moves us on to item number 6.3. We'll be looking for a decision from the committee. We have the recommendation from the planner here. So does anybody would like to move that, second that, or I see Member Eccles, will you move? So moved. As a recommendation set forward by the planner. Thank you, Member Eccles. I see Member Hutchinson, your hand up. You're seconding that, sir? Thank you very much. Any comments or questions on the recommendation before us? We'll call the vote. Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor, you can just raise your hand, please. I see all members are in favor. There's none opposed. That motion has carried. And we'll go to 6.4, Planner Smith. If you could just please advise what the next steps would be, sir.
The municipality, the planning department will issue a decision on both the minor variance and on the consent to the owners and to the affected agencies. Once an appeal period is finished, and only agencies and the owners can appeal the decisions. If there's no appeals, then the owner, George McPhails, can bring forward their documents for the severance overall and complete that process.
Thank you, Planner Smith. So that concludes all the applications before us today. And that takes us to item number 7. Next meeting I have scheduled is December 3rd, 2024 at 2 p.m. That will probably be posted on our website a week in advance. And item number 8 is adjournment. So I will declare that all business on today's agenda has been completed. And we stand adjourned at 2:23.